I really want to ask these next two questions. So the first question is, for having this large 9-inch or larger salad bowl with, basically your G bombs, right, that you were talking about, foods in there, is there a salad dressing, or are we letting our taste buds convert so we can taste each of the different flavor profiles that the G bombs sort of represent to us? Or are you dressing it with something? Because clearly we overdress things for sure, as at least in America. Right?
Well, I think that was an oversight. I should have mentioned that, because a hallmark of Nutritarian eating is that we make salad dressings with the whole nut or seed, not the oil from the nut or seed. It's not walnut oil, it's walnuts in the salad dressing we blend in the blender. It's the sesame seeds and the cashew nuts. One of my favorite dressings is just a peeled navel orange with some lightly toasted sesame seeds, some cashews, a squeeze of lemon, and some blood orange vinegar. Makes an incredibly delicious salad dressing. Or a thickened homemade tomato sauce with little pieces of sun-dried tomatoes and roasted garlic and almond butter and black fig vinegar or balsamic vinegar. We're making these delicious dressings. They're made without salt and without oil. And they're made with the fatty component comes from the nuts and seeds blended or used as nut butters. And they taste phenomenally delicious. Now, you can have your salad dry if you like it that way, but then you have to eat some nuts separately, because we still want you to have some fat in the meal to facilitate absorption, help the absorption of those beneficial compounds. And nuts and seeds themselves have dramatic benefits to extend human lifespan. The Seventh-day Adventist Health Study 2 was corroborated by at least 17 other studies that showed that in the highest quintile of nut and seed consumption, you had a 39% reduction of heart attack deaths, a dramatic reduction in cancer deaths, and a dramatic increase in human longevity from getting your fat from nuts and seeds instead of oil and animal product fats. And we're talking about that was in all different cohorts: the young, the old, black, white, Asian, vegans, non-vegans, meat eaters. Whoever you were, the addition of nuts and seeds had beneficial effects for human longevity.
Wow. I love that. So we have a registered dietitian that we hired about almost a year ago now, and she religiously, I wonder if she is a Dr. Fuhrman follower, actually, because her diet is almost exactly like everything that you're saying. I'm like, man, she does that. Oh, she does that too. Oh, wow, she does that. And of course, she looks great. She's a total athlete, right? And so it's all starting to make sense. So I did have one more question.
Well, I'm very proud of the fact that I've influenced so many professionals and doctors to change their careers, their diets, and the way they treat patients too. So I spent a lot of time, training and mentoring doctors. I'm very proud of the fact that when the American College of Lifestyle Medicine did a survey of all the physicians across America using nutritional medicine, my books came out number one as the ones they recommend to their patients.
That's awesome. Yeah. So speaking of disease, so I have a dear friend who suffers from Crohn's disease. And so obviously this is like an autoimmune gut, like major gut problem, right? Super gut inflammation. And he tells me that these specific things, right? Seeds, too much greens, whatever, really irritate his gut. So how would you sort of baby step somebody into that? Or what would be the process that someone like that would have to start stepping out in order to be able to change their diet to something like this, where they can reverse all of that inflammation and the Crohn's and all of this? I'm sure you've probably run into this in your lifetime.
Oh, I have so many cases. We could stay for hours. I could go over one case after another. But yeah, a lot of people with active inflammatory bowel disease, especially if they're inflamed, they can't have raw vegetables. We have to cook everything. Like steamed zucchini, what we do is we use steamed zucchinis with the skin on it. We don't cut them up. We steam, and then we cut them after they're steamed. But we use a lot of pureed food, and we put them on juicing, juices, and we get their nutrient levels up by moderately cooking almost everything. So their diet has to be more mushy, like a baby food. You know what I mean? Yeah. And cooked. And then but once the inflammation is gone, with some people, they're so active, we even have to heat up the juices. Even the vegetable juice we're giving them, we have to bring them to a light boil, because their digest tracts are too sensitive. And then they can eventually tolerate raw juices, and then eventually tolerate some small amounts of softer lettuce. So we advance their diet gradually as we're trying to build up the nutrient levels in their body and change their fatty acid levels. And of course, people with Crohn's, fried foods is the killer to Crohn's. So getting out the cooked oils is a killer, and they can't have nutritional yeast, things like that either. But we can really make tremendous progress. But where we start is obviously we don't give the same diet to everybody.
Okay.